All right, Joe, February 7th, 2015. Another great show here at the O Arena. I'll tell you something, man. The crowd was live. It was almost like the same crowd that we had last week.
That's right, PK. I'll tell you something. The crowd was big. The crowd was loud. And they were so excited because we had some amazing matches tonight and some new turns and twists here in the OSWA.
No doubt about that, Joe. Let's get to the first match. Will Caution versus Keith Cage. This was a memorial match for a friend of Will Caution that had passed away named by the name of Malik Moon. I'll tell you something. It was a great match. Once again, both these guys really did well, but in the end, Will Caution rolled out of a pin to pin Keith Cage to get the win.
I gotta tell you something, PK. Both competitors were amazing in that match. What a physical matchup. And man, Will Caution, Keith Cage, up-and-coming wrestlers who never cease to amaze me.
I agree, Joe. Then our next match was the Generations Champion title match. Wasabi versus Ken O'Sullivan. I'll tell you something, Joe. It was real interesting. Wasabi's in the ring. He's wrestling Ken O'Sullivan. Then all of a sudden, another Wasabi's in the ring. So There's two Wasabis, and you can't really disqualify yourself for fighting yourself.
It was an imposter.
What?
Yeah. I mean, who else could it be? Wasabi was in the ring. He was wrestling Ken O'Sullivan, giving Ken O'Sullivan the match of his life, and then suddenly some imposter Wasabi comes in and interrupts the match.
Well, Joe, in the end, though, Ken O'Sullivan hit Wasabi with a Luck of the Irish finishing maneuver for the win and became our new Generations Champion.
Yeah, once again, another title change here in the OSWA. Ken O'Sullivan, a tough one, a brawler, built like a fire hydrant. He's going to be a tough one to beat.
No doubt about that, Joe. And then we had our Ultimate Champion, Jake Hughes. He came out and just started bashing the audience.
PK, I'll tell you something. He is a 3-time Ultimate Champion. Nobody has ever done that before. And I'll tell you something right now, PK. It is impressive to see a new attitude with Jake Hughes. More competitive, more hungry, and more just driven for victory.
Well, Joe, you know, Jake Hughes out there talking about all the sacrifices that he made. Well, somebody got tired of hearing that. That was Adrian Phillips.
Oh,
Adrian Phillips came out. They basically had a little bit of a fight going on there. And then all of a sudden, Jake Hughes challenged Adrian Phillips for a shot at the Ultimate title.
That's right, I love it. You know, Adrian Phillips comes out, he starts complaining, oh, I've given up a lot too, and I don't get the attention that you get. And Jake Hughes just slaps him. I love it, PK. Just putting that kid in his place.
Don't you think Jake Hughes was doing the same amount of whining, though?
No, I mean, it's different. He's a champion. You know, he's talking about the sacrifices he made to get to the top. It's a completely different argument, PK.
Well, Joe, then our next match was Scorn versus the newcomer, Johnny Pinhead. And, Joe, I gotta admit, I've been rather impressed with Johnny Pinhead. Here's a guy, he shows up, he beats Zach Daniels to get in the Soul Survivor match at New Year's Knockout. Then he goes from there and he wins the Soul Survivor match. And then tonight he faces Scorn, who's a former Generations champion.
Beats him by pinfall. And I gotta admit, PK, I'm impressed with Johnny Pinhead. Not the most orthodox name I've ever heard in the world of professional wrestling.
I think you and him shop at the same place, though.
No, PK, I'm not that poor. I don't shop with little purple rags like that. I go to stores that cost real money, PK. And
not Monopoly money?
Shut up, PK. The point is, yeah, Johnny Pinhead, he's had some good luck here, but he's got a lot to prove.
Well, he hit Scorn with a spear, and he got the win for this match. I'll tell you something. He beat a former Generations champion. He probably went ahead. He's probably going to be possibly our next Ultimate Champion.
Well, we'll see about that, PK. Time will tell. I think it's probably just a case of beginner's luck.
Well, Joe, then we had a tag match, Kit Bryson and Rod Bolt versus Taco and Johnny Walker.
That's right, PK, the Scotch-Mex connection.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you something. What was real interesting was it was a good match. Johnny Walker hit Kit Bryson with the Haggis Hanger for the win. But what was really interesting after that is, after they win, guess who comes out to disrupt the match? The suspended White Trash.
Well, you know what? They have every right to go in there and disrupt the match. They had no right to be suspended from last week's action. They were hungry. They want to come in and be part of the action. You can't blame them for that. You and I come here to be part of the action.
Well, Joe, they bit off a little more they can chew because while they were beating up on Taco and Johnny Walker, David Garrison jumped in the ring with a chair, and all of a sudden White Trash cleared the ring, just like roaches in your kitchen when the light comes on.
No, there are no roaches in my kitchen, PK.
You sure about that?
Yes, I'm darn sure.
What was interesting was Johnny Walker went ahead and scheduled a match for our next show on the 21st. White Trash versus Johnny Walker and Mr. Garrison.
That's right, White Trash versus the White Beards. Let's see how that goes.
Well, Joe, then we had another tag match. This time was for the tag team titles. It was Will Caution and Jackson Carter versus the Dominion.
That's right, PK, and I'll tell you something. What an incredible match. Of all the matches tonight, that one really had an impression on me, especially with how do I put this? The melee that happened after the match.
I mean, Joe, the locker room cleared out. Basically, it just turned into a free-for-all. Both tag teams get counted out for no contest. So, the Dominion get to maintain the titles. But I think Will Caution and Jackson Carter, they showed that they could definitely hang in there and possibly become our next tag team champions.
Very possibly. And I got to say, I was really impressed. Do you remember when that fight broke out outside the ring, how Will Caution came flipped over the top rope onto the other three competitors? That just blew my mind because, Will Caution, what an amazing wrestler. He is athletic. He is strong. I mean, he's a natural-born athlete.
No doubt, Joe. I'll tell you something. I see some good things for that tag team.
Absolutely.
Well, then we had Mystic Storm versus Mr. Hollywood for the corporate championship match.
That's right. Mr. Hollywood, the prodigal son, has returned. He is back to riches, away from the rags. I was right. All you ditch diggers out there were wrong. And so glad to see Hollywood hanging out with me back on the Sunset Strip Monday through Saturday.
Well, Joe, what was
twice on Sunday.
Well, Joe, what was interesting was that you have to remember Mystic Storm and Mr. Hollywood were both basically corporate champions at the same time. And of course, Jack Stryker won the corporate championship. And so it's kind of interesting to see how this worked out. But, Joe, I think your recall of the match is a little different because basically what happened was Security Shane distracted the ref. He gave the cell phone to Mr. Hollywood, who then hit Mystic Storm with it, who then pinned Mystic Storm.
It was an accident. Besides, tonight's match was to prove who was the true champion, who was the better man. And let's face it was Mr. Hollywood, clearly the better man.
Well, Joe, we'll let our fans decide that. Well, then, Joe, then we had our ultimate title match.
Yes.
Jake Hughes versus Adrian Phillips.
Adrian Phillips, I got to say, you know what? I'm not a big fan of that guy, but I will hand it to him. He's really built up, an arsenal. He's coming into his own as a wrestler.
Well, Joe, it was a good match. These guys went back and forth. I'll tell you something. It was kind of a longer match, and it could have gone either way. But, of course, in the end, Jake Hughes wound up hitting Adrian Phillips with a DDT, and then he put his feet on the middle ropes to get the leverage to make sure he got the pin and got the win.
I thought maybe he tripped or something. He was trying to get himself, readjusted. But the point is, the Ultimate Champion, 3-time Ultimate Champion. I never doubted Jake Hughes. I always liked the guy. He is the prototype of what a professional wrestler should be. Big, strong, athletic, charismatic. I can't wait to see more of the future of Jake Hughes.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you this much. I think if you were to look back at previous recaps, fans, you'd actually see what Joe really thought of Jake Hughes back when, let's say, he was a little more honorable.
Oh, PK, I can change my opinions, just like those fans out there changed the opinions of Jake Hughes when he started standing up for himself and getting away from that Alpha McFly crazy wannabe time traveler guy.
Well, Joe, the bottom line is our next show is February 21st, 2015. We know for sure there's going to be White Trash versus David Garrison and the Highlander Johnny Walker. As you said, White Trash versus the Whitebeards. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, Picky. I can't wait to see White Trash once again dominate over these other white bearded has-beens.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you something. It's better to be a has-been than like yourself. I never was.
What?
Folks, I'd like to say we'll be back here in 2 weeks, February 21st. We look forward to seeing you here. You can catch up with us at www.oswaentertainment.com, facebook.com/OSWA Entertainment. You can also find us on YouTube, youtube.com/OSWA Entertainment, and of course on Twitter at OSWA. We appreciate our fans, and we'll see you next time.